So there's a section at the beginning of the planner which says make and then freeze, and there's 19 recipes that can be done in advance, but I just want to talk to you particularly about veg and sauces today. Hi, I'm Charlie from Ask Charlie and welcome to my YouTube channel. Please remember to subscribe and to ring the bell to be notified of my weekly videos. So, Christmas is fast approaching. Coco, my daughter, is taking great delight in telling me every day how many days we've got left till Christmas. She thinks it's really funny watching my faces. Oh, God, where are the days flying? I think just this week has gone so quickly. Anyway, I'm waffling. Today I want to talk to you about sides and sauces, particularly from my Christmas planner. So I have actually done a reprint of the planner because I sold out, which is really exciting, and I've got a new, more Christmassy cover, but it's exactly the same content inside. So there's a section at the beginning of the planner which says make and then freeze, and there's 19 recipes that can be done in advance, but I just want to talk to you particularly about veg and sauces today. So let's start with roast potatoes. My mother used to peel her potatoes, chop them up and soak them in water a day in advance, but I did an Italian cookery course a few years ago, and it's not a good idea to soak your potatoes without the skin on for periods of time because they take on too much water and then actually they don't taste as good. So Italians actually boil their potatoes and then peel them afterwards so the water can't be absorbed into the potato itself. So that is a bit of a top tip. But you can do your roast potatoes in advance and freeze them, and it works really well. I've been doing this for a number of years. Just roast them as normal. Or you can use my recipe from the planner, and then just take them out 15 minutes before you would normally to serve immediately. Let them cool, put them in a Tupperware and pop them in the freezer, and then just take them out the night before, let them defrost, pop them back on a tray. You don't need to add anything else, and just heat them through as you would, and then serve. So that is our roast potatoes. Then dauphinoise. They are actually much easier to do in advance. They freeze really well, and they also keep in the fridge for a couple of days. So that's something that you can do ahead of time. And then honey roast parsnips. These freeze really well as well. So get cracking and get your parsnips in the freezer. Sprouts, I do mine on the day. So it's pretty much one of the few things I do on the day with the turkey. Red cabbage. Mine's in the freezer now. Actually I did it ages ago, and it freezes really, really well. In fact, I think it's better having been frozen. Just check the seasoning though, make sure there's enough salt and pepper in there. And then stuffing. This can be done now and popped in the freezer. And then we have got bread sauce. That freezes really well, and you might just need to add a little bit more milk to it or liquid when it's defrosted, but that works really well in the freezer. Cranberry sauce, that can be done now as well. White sauce, I put Gruyere in mine. I always freeze white sauce. I make masses if I'm making lasagnas and things like that, and I always make sure that I've got some little Tupperwares and I just portion it up, and so that is really a really great thing to freeze. And then my Cumberland sauce, I showed you how I make that a couple of weeks ago, so that's another thing to get ahead of, and it's so delicious with pork. Actually, it also works really well with roast chicken or turkey, so it's versatile. And the gravy, you can, with my recipe, you can do it in advance, or you can, I've got stock waiting in the freezer to use as well. So either you can do it ahead and pop it in the freezer, or just make sure you've got some good stock ready and waiting for it. I keep the stock when I cook my gammon, and I use that in with my gravy. Now, I really put my planner together because the first time I think I hosted Christmas was probably the year before I had a child, and then I had Archie, and I was not quite pregnant with Coco, but nearly. And I found it really, really stressful with young children, trying to juggle everything, trying to spend time with them, trying to do the ponies and the horses, the animals, and cook from scratch on the day. It's just too much. So the more that you can do in advance, which is really why I put this together, just takes the stress out and you can enjoy it. So literally on Christmas Eve, I open up my freezer and I take all the bits out that I need, and we're done and we're sorted, and I can actually enjoy the children opening their presents. And I can also make them, because you know, there's Lego bits, or there's this that needs building, or the train track, or the scale electrics, or whatever it is. They need you to be around, not chained to the kitchen trying to put everything together. So I hope that you have found this helpful. If you haven't got a copy of my planner yet, there's still time, so go and order now, and I will be posting out actually until the end of next week, so go and get it now. And I hope that you have found this helpful, talking about sides and sauces.